Hey there, YouTube. In case you didn't know, I'm a licensed massage therapist. I have been licensed for about 8 years, and I've been running my own successful business for almost 3, coming up in August. Now, this video popped up, and I really wanted to watch it, so I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing or bits and pieces, but this says, massage therapist, has a session ever turned not safe for work? So let's see what happens. And I will talk about it. I think people would be surprised how some horrible things can occur, but then again, it's only the horrible things that get talked about, right? The amount of times that I've had horrible things happen are almost none. So, but being a guy in the industry is much different than being a woman, and that's an unfortunate thing that people have to think about before they get into the industry.
Massage therapists of Reddit, have you ever had a frisky experience while giving a client a massage? Or what is the creepiest thing that ever happened to you while giving a client a massage? Story 1. In my late 20s, I used to work as a technician.
So I will say there is a difference between masseuse and massage therapists. Now, typically in the field, we do not like being called masseuse or masseurs. That implies a more frisky line of work. And it also implies that we don't have an education. So technically we are a licensed massage therapist. However, clients are old and stuck on their ways, and masseuse and masseur are so popularized. It doesn't bother me anymore, but it definitely bothers quite a lot of people in the industry, and they will correct you on it as nicely as possible, hopefully.
In a local spa in my medium-sized town. I specialized in Swedish massages and mostly saw clients who were in my medium-sized town.
A technician? Okay, that's weird. I don't know of any licensed massage therapist that refers to them as a technician, so that already feels like they're not licensed. You can work without a license, but you have to specify somewhere that you're not licensed legally, okay?
In Swedish massages and mostly saw clients who were there for one-off sessions. I did, however, have a few consistent clients whom I saw once or twice a month.
Sure.
One in particular, an incredibly fit man in his early 40s, the
Sure.
spa was in the same building complex as a nice gym, would come to me pretty regularly for a 90-minute session.
Sure.
He was always really nice. We'd chat as he settled in, and then he would get on the table and simply enjoy the massages.
Okay.
I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy them too. He wasn't an incredibly buff man, but his muscle tone was amazing. I just, really enjoyed touching his body.
Oh, okay. There's no freaking way a real massage therapist would say that. There is no way. No way. This person is not licensed. I guarantee it. No. We do not say things like we enjoy touching their body. That literally never happens. Oh, this video is going to piss me off.
About the 5th or 6th time he came in, something interesting happened. About 60 minutes in, after he had turned over and I began working on his front, I noticed a very obvious hard-on beginning to tent up. I tried as hard as I could to ignore it and simply continue on with his massage in a professional way.
Good. It definitely happens. I have not had it happen often, especially being a male. I think I've had it maybe 5 times, and only one of them was extremely awkward. Like the person's member would react so I'm working on the tops of the shoulders while they're face up, working on the tops of their traps, going into the neck. And as I was working my knuckles into here, it would react and tent itself harder. And then when I stopped, it would relax more. But as soon as I would hit those spots again, it would start. So needless to say, that was super awkward.
After about 3 minutes, he seemed to become aware as well. He sat up slowly and removed his towel completely. I took a step back, and as much as I wanted to tell him to please cover up, I was, in awe. He apologized to me and grasped his dong with his right hand at the base and began to twist.
Shut up.
I heard a hissing sound, and steam began emitting from the base of his dong as he removed it. He walked over to his jacket and pulled out a small box lined with soft felt and placed his detached dong inside it and closed the lid. He walked back over to the table, put his towel back on, and... You guys, all of these stories will be just as real as this one. We now have a Discord. Check out the server.
What?
As I wanted to tell him to please cover up, I was, in awe. He apologized to me and grasped his dong with his right hand at the base and began to twist. I heard a hissing sound and steam began emitting from the base of his dong as he removed it. He He walked over to his jacket and pulled out a small box lined with soft felt and placed his detached dong inside it and closed the lid. He walked back over to the table, put his towel back on, and, god damn it, you guys, all of these stories will be just as real as this one. We now have a Discord. Check out the server in the link in the description. Story 2.
No fucking way. No fucking way. There are so many things in this. There's Steam. He just went to the gym. He's gonna work out with that thing on. Please. There's no way. No freaking way.
2. I'm a male escort and an erotic masseuse.
Okay.
My prices are very high compared to a regular massage, and no one can mistake what they're buying. Also, the website I advertise on is Full Naked Buff Dude, so look, there's no confusion.
Okay, good.
Well, one day I would receive a call from a man asking if I'm available. He said he would like a massage at his office in the middle of downtown. I didn't think much of it, as I've done this kink for a few people before. They normally run a small business and nobody's there at the time at night. Innocent enough. But this guy requested it to be at lunch.
Okay, yeah, and to be honest, I don't really care if you're an escort or if you're a sex worker. That doesn't bother me one bit. What bothers me is someone pretending to be a licensed massage therapist just to do that to their clients, right? Don't waste your time going to massage school. This shit's not easy. It's really, people are surprised and how difficult and how much information you have to learn. And then you have to build complex thoughts and complex body mechanics on top of that. So just don't waste your time. Go to like a business school, learn how to market some things, and then you're good. You know, don't waste your freaking time with massage school. I paid $15,000 to be licensed. Like, don't waste your time. Just go do it. And just don't pretend to be something that you're not, right? That's all we ask.
And gave me the address to a bustling building. When I arrived, it was filled with people in a beautiful open space office. I brought my massage table and people were making light conversation with me thinking I'm a legit masseuse. This was way out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
I'm used to dealing with pervy guys in dim-lit rooms, not talking to Karen and her friends interested in booking a massage. When I finally met the guy, he led me through a maze of people and departments. Everyone was staring at me because I was dressed like a man-ho while everyone else was in business attire. Tank top, gray sweats, and no underwear. Gotta dress the part, you know? He leads me to an open room that had been converted into a massage area, meaning there are no doors, just a paper curtain divider that blocks the view from his coworkers. I started the massage and was thinking, he can't possibly think I would do anything here, right? This is insane. After half an hour, I started to get a sense that something is off. I would glide my hands to more intimate areas, but he kept talking casually. Most guys would pop a tent or ask to be massaged near their groin or start touching my junk, you know.
Yep.
But he was talking about his wife and daughters. I immediately asked him how he found me. He told me it was a recommendation from one of his friends. Then started going on about his relationship with this guy and how they have a very strong friendship, and they would constantly prank each other. I froze and my heart dropped. This guy thought it was a legit massage. This was supposed to be a prank that somehow got way too advanced without any party knowing. Hence why I'm in the middle of a tech office and he is so nonchalant about everything. I immediately went real masseuse and focused on his knots for the remainder of the time. He paid me my ridiculous fee and made a small comment about it being expensive for a massage, but it was good and convenient. I was beyond terrified as I was seconds away from doing something highly inappropriate to this man right in the middle of his office, feet from his coworkers. That was the most eerie experience I've had. Story 3.
Okay, that I believe, that's funny. Makes perfect sense. And I honestly could see that happening. I lost my train of thought. Mother French toast. Oh, knots. Dude, I don't want to talk. The term knots is so overused by clients. And you know, the population doesn't know any better, right? This up here, some of that is supposed to be there. It's supposed to be like that. It's the way the shoulder is made. It's the way the muscles are connecting to things. So like this up here isn't immediately a knot. It's literally supposed to be there. So, but I could probably spend 15 million freaking hours talking about that stuff. So, but let's keep going. Story 2, I believe.
3. I do home visits. I'm male. Had a particular client 3 times. Usually I have clients stripped down to their underwear.
Sure.
The second session he got nude, but I didn't think much of it as he seemed okay.
Yep, literally doesn't
At the
matter.
third session, as I was massaging his neck while he's on his back, he just started jerking it. I was kind of shocked in the moment, and I didn't know what to do. He reached for my hand as if to
why
get
doesn't
me
my
to
play
finish him
button
off,
freaking-
and at that point, I stood up and said, I have to go. He reached for my
Why doesn't
hand
my
as if
space
to
bar
get me to
pause? For God's sakes. This definitely can happen. 100%. Not to me, but definitely to the female massage therapists that are out there. Especially if you're attractive. It is horrendously... It sucks. I was trying to think of a nice way to say it, but it sucks. And let's see how this person handles it.
him off, and at that point I stood up and said, I have to go.
Good.
It was fairly awkward waiting for him to get dressed so I could pack my table and get my money and leave. I've had a couple of incidents in my 5 years. Female therapists would have had it much worse. Sucks that massage is associated with sensual/sexual because I just really like helping people overcome aches and mobility issues.
Same.
But it's hard to advertise without getting calls from guys wanting their dong tugged.
True.
Story 4. My parents own a spa
Story 3, pass. 100% probably true.
I used to work at, and I have a crap ton of stories. But here's a good one.
Let's see.
At one point, we had 2 male massage therapists. Now, I worked in the call center, and before booking a massage, we would always clarify if the client was comfortable seeing a male massage therapist, as we had a majority female clientele. But
True. There are definitely people, male and female, that are not comfortable with a male massage therapist. I ran into that issue when I was in school. I started my, so you have to do 30 hours of desk work for my program. It was an 11-month program. You have to do a 30-hour desk work, working the clinic, so you understand how it goes. Then you have a certain amount of hours for me. I think I ended up with, I think we had to do another like 60 hours of massage, if I'm remembering correctly. 16, 30, that's 90. That sounds about right. I think I ended up doing like 90 massage hours just because I would help out the other clinic when people would call off or call in sick. So, but yes, I worked extra because it was difficult for me as a male therapist to get clients on the table. Once I got them on the table, they realized, oh, holy crap, he knows what he's doing, and they've rebooked. But unfortunately, I think even still, there's a lot of people that prefer a female massage therapist, which is totally fine. I don't care. Most of the time, if I can get someone who typically prefers a female to go in and relax, 98% of the time they come out and they're like, wow, I can't believe I waited this long to go see a male massage therapist. And just like anything else, there's good ones and bad ones. I just happen to be a good one. At least that's what people tell me.
one day, this male client books a massage for himself with our male therapist, Ed. He was a new client and actually requested a male, but whatever.
Sure,
Guy
totally
goes
fine.
in for his appointment, and the first half is normal. Dude's naked on the massage table with a blanket covering his lower half.
Sure.
First half of the massage, he's on his stomach. Then Ed tells him to go ahead and flip over to his back to continue.
Sure.
This dude flips over, hands Ed a wad of cash from who knows where, and saying, "That's for you," and then starts to jerk himself off. Ed promptly said, "All right, your appointment is done. They'll take care of you at the front desk," and books it out of there.
Good for them.
Dude pays, leaves with no problem. Here's the kicker. Ed never told my parents, a manager, nothing. We only found out through work gossip. But because we didn't know about this creep, the guy ended up calling and scheduling another appointment with Ed. He found out shortly after booking the scoop, and the guy was asked not to come back.
Yep.
The spa's a pretty upscale place in the triple-digit price range, so not sure if the guy just thought we were an expensive spa with a side hustle or a really cheap brothel.
Gotcha.
Story 5. I get a call from my friend.
I believe that one 100%. Yep, believe 100%. Not telling, it doesn't sound like the person took the money. So not telling your manager or GM or someone about it seems a little weird. However, in the moment, you get so scared and intimidated that it's actually happening to you, you probably just want to bury it and forget that it ever happened.
One night. Her boss wants a massage and she recommends me. Since he is my friend's boss, I don't worry much, and I head over to this dude's place with my gear. When I first come in and have everything set up, the dude offers me a Vegas bomb. I pass and the massage starts as normal. Everything is...
What's a Vegas bomb? Is that a drink? Hold on, I'm going to Google it. Crown Royal Whiskey, Cranberry Juice, Peach Schnappt. Holy crap. So it's an alcoholic drink. Got it. Got it. Okay, yeah, and that's a big no-no for me. So at least in massage school, they teach you not to work on people that have been drinking or under the influence of marijuana. Now, Edibles are a little bit different. Like if a person's coming in and like I have clients that use edibles for pain tolerance to keep them off of pain, like pain pills. And I have clients that use cannabis to keep them out off of seizure medication, and it keeps their seizures under control. Now, for those two instances, yeah, I'm typically okay, especially if I've seen the client before. However, you have to use your own personal discretion at that, and never under alcohol. Like if they have a glass of wine with a good dinner, that's one thing. But if they came in slosh drunk, you know, and they threw back 4 tequila shots for their birthday, and they had two breadsticks before they came in, it is what's called contraindicated for massage because alcohol inhibits that connectivity to your body, right? And we need you to have a sharp connection to your body so you can tell us if things are too much or not enough. And when your judgment is impeded, we could be doing too much, damaging your muscles and the tissues, or we also push the alcohol effects through your system faster, so it gets you drunk harder, gets you drunk faster, and it'll dehydrate you faster. It'll dehydrate you harder, and your hangover will be worse. And you'll get like these gross sweats, and it'll start seeping out your skin. It's all awful. Do not drink and go get a massage. Save the drinks for afterwards.
Is going as expected. The dude was Indian, I think, and was saying how this is great. He would recommend me to all his friends, etc. But about halfway through, I hear, "You do happy ending?"
Ugh.
My hands just froze. No one had ever asked me that before. My friends make jokes and all, but I never had to deal with this from a client. The conversation goes like this. "You do happy ending?" "No." "Why not?" "Because that's disgusting and unprofessional."
True that.
"I pay extra." "We're done here." I stopped the massage, packed up my gear, told him to pay the full price, and left. Once I was home, I called up my friend to tell her what a creep her boss was, and she started laughing her butt off. Apparently, he had asked her if I did happy endings, and she thought he was joking and joked back, "Yes." Story 6.
No, dude, I believe that. Oh my God. Do not do that to your massage therapist friends. If you have any sense whatsoever, that is not a fucking joke. Do you realize how many times we hear the happy ending bullshit? We hear it so freaking much, dude. We hear it so much. And it sucks. We can never get away with it forever and ever, ever, and ever, 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 never, ever. So do not ever think it's a joke to be like, ho, 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 ho. No, it's fine. You're going to say it in the comments. That's fine. It doesn't bother me too much now. But like, if one of my friends sent a pervy boss my way, holy shit, I would rip them a new one.
19 to 21, I worked at a massage place as the receptionist. People used to come in all the time to ask how much massages were, and usually that was the extent of the conversation. One day, a bloke walked in and asked how much the massages were, so I told him. Then he asked in an overly friendly voice if I did the massages. I naively plowed on with, "No, not me, they're done by," when my boss walked out of the consultation room he'd been in with a client and said, "I do the massages, can I help you?" The guy looked instantly sheepish and couldn't get out of the door fast enough. My boss said he'd overheard the guy ask if I did the massages and knew something wasn't right.
True.
He told me
Good call.
that if that ever happened again, to just say I would get the masseuse for him and walk out. Story 7. Not a massage therapist, but my dad is, and this is one of his favorite stories.
Let's roll.
When his clients come in, he gives them a list of Pandora stations to choose from for the session. A client comes in one day and picks 50s jazz, so like Ella Fitzgerald and stuff. The thing about some of these women from the 50s, some of their songs were not so subtly frisky. One comes on and it's about a woman asking her lover when he's coming home. But she's singing lines like, "When are you gonna come? Oh, I can't wait for you to come. Come for me, baby. I love it when you come for me." He's in the middle of working on this woman's glutes when that song comes on, and he pauses to see if she's awake. She hadn't said anything for a while, so he figures she's just gone asleep. It's a pain
Always, always. It's a pain to shut up. Hold on.
stop what he's in the middle of working on, walk over to the phone, and wipe all the massage oil off his fingers just to skip the song, so he makes a mental note to remove it later from the playlist and keeps going.
Okay, but it's really easy to be like, excuse me, client, I just realized this song is pretty inappropriate. Do you want me to change it? Even if they're snoring, you can ignore it and make a mental note. But if they're not snoring, right, they're just in like that massage, just take the 5 seconds. You can talk to them while you're working. I mean, at least I can. Some people, oh my Lord, some people as a massage therapist, when they talk, they have to use their hands and they stop working. if I go to a massage therapist and they stop working to talk to me, I shut the hell up. And I talk literally the whole time. Okay? What I do on YouTube, I literally do on the massage table, only there's no camera. So and I do warn them in advance. Most of the time they're friends that I've seen multiple times, and we'll trade back and forth, and I'll warn them like, hey, you better drink an espresso before you come in because I got tons of stuff to say. So just ask them. Super easy. Yeah, super easy, and you don't have to worry about it, right? You got other things to do. So just ask them and you'll be done with it.
A few minutes later, when the song is reaching its climax of a woman begging her lover to come, his massage bottle runs out of oil. Not a problem, he always keeps a spare on his hip because this happens.
Been there.
The thing is, sometimes when a bottle is being
Only
filled
I
up,
use lotion.
a bubble of air gets caught in the tube inside and comes out with the first pump.
Sure.
He goes to pump the oil into his hand, and a mix of oil and air comes out with a loud splooge
Yep.
sound that sounds like a cartoonish nut sound.
Yep.
He freezes, one hand on the pump and the other on this woman's butt. She doesn't react, so again he thinks she's probably...
Oh, so they're doing bare glute work. Okay, so over here, especially for the corporation that I worked for, we're very conservative. I've only worked on like 2 bare glutes in my entire career. And I think one of them was a professional, and I think the other one was just like, I needed to do like specific trigger point when it come to like to close to the piriformis. So I work over the sheet, and honestly, 95% of the time working over the sheet works just as well, and it protects you as the therapist and it protects them as the client. Some people are not comfortable getting their bare glute work done. That is something you need to specify well in advance and double check, triple check, make sure you're comfortable doing it, and make sure your draping's good. That way their business isn't flopping out everywhere, men or women, and make sure that it's needed. You don't need to do bare glute work on the first time client that's coming in that's never had a massage before. Okay, you'll scar them for life.
Asleep. Then her entire body starts shaking with laughter. They're both laughing so hard they need to take a break from the massage to compose
I've been there. I've
themselves.
been there.
Thank God she was chill and found it just as funny as he did.
Yes.
Story 8.
I love that story. Yeah, that's good.
A friend
That's good.
who's a licensed massage therapist and had been studying medicine and been around doctors for a lot of his life. One of his sessions with a regular female client, while she was face down and he was in front of her by her head working on her back, she reached up and grabbed his butt.
Happens.
He asked what she was doing, and she just said, "Sorry, I don't know. I couldn't help myself."
Oh, fuck that. No, man. You get that fucking woman. You get that person off the table, man. That is inexcusable. Oh my God. You eject that person, fucking rage flip that table, and you get the fuck out of there, man.
He told her to not do that again, and the rest of the session continued as normal.
Good.
At the end of the session, he got her a glass of water, and as he turned
Sure.
around to leave, she grabbed his butt
Shut
again.
up.
Still, she apologized and seemed genuinely upset and embarrassed, insisting that she just couldn't help
No.
herself. My friend ponders for a moment before doing a peripheral vision check on her. Her vision is way below what is normal. Massage therapist calls the client's husband and suggests that they go see a doctor because there might be something wrong with her impulse control and vision, which would suggest maybe some sort of frontal lobe problem. Sure enough, a few days later, she had an MRI and there was a tumor developing in her frontal lobe. Glioblastoma, I think? I forget the exact medical language he used. It was removed and she's doing fine now. Story 9.
In the realm of possibilities, I assume this is technically a real thing, but man, that is hard for me to believe. I have heard of massage therapists helping clients catch blood clots, right? There are specific things we're taught in school to recognize a blood clot. There's a temperature difference, there's a color difference, there's the way that they appear, depending on where they appear, typically on the legs. So like there have been times where I've spoken to clients like, hey, I don't like the way this looks, right? So obviously you don't go digging into it. I say, hey, I don't like the way this looks. You know, I'm not trying to scare you, but if you're going to the doctor soon, why don't you have them check on this? We're taught in school to look for blood clots, and I just don't like the way this looks. But you shouldn't be too alarmed. I haven't had a client come back and be like, oh, thank God. However, my professor did. She'd been doing that for 14 years. She helped a client catch a blood clot that would have led to him having like lethal issues. So he was very thankful. He gave her flowers. It was super cute. So, yeah, I guess technically that could happen, but man, it sounds like doohickey. This one I'm unsure of.
I had a very eccentric, read creepy as F, client who came into our clinic one day wanting a Tui-na massage, a type of Chinese massage. We usually leave the room to let the client strip down into underwear before we
Tui-na massage. Hold on, I've never heard that. Now, we're very westernized over here. Okay, they definitely meant Tuina, Tuina. An alternative medicine similar to shiatsu. Okay, so help get rid of blockages and imbalances that are believed to be led. Okay, so this, an alternative, okay. Often used in conjunction with acupuncture, fire cupping, Chinese herbalism. Okay, so it's definitely on the more eastern side of things. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I don't know anything about
commence.
this one.
But this guy, I had no chance to get away. Before I had time to give him a towel, he dropped his pants to reveal a sparkling blue G-string that barely kept everything in place. The guy was about 58, huge beer gut, gray hair, gold earring, and hairy like Robin Williams.
Nice.
As I started the massage, the guy started to tell me that he worked as an erotic masseuse specializing in body slide massage.
Oh, God.
This is where the masseuse gets oiled up and rubs his body and genitals all over before banging the client at the end. The whole time I was massaging him, he kept telling me that I was really good with my hands. He also repeatedly told me how good he was at his job and plugging his business with a hinting tone. That was an awkward session. Story 10. My wife is an RMT, registered massage therapist. A lot of tradespeople go out west to work/be overpaid, but return to visit family or inevitably return. She had one such client who had just gotten back from the oil rigs and assured her that if she did a real good job, he'd tip her well, in more than one way. She said she'll make sure she does a good job and to apply deep pressure.
If they say that, don't even fucking do the massage, dude. Just walk away. And God. If I ever had a client do that, man, oh my Lord. There'd be no way in hell they're getting work done.
Sure if that's what he really wanted, but he just keeps suggesting a real good job and lots of money. She's not a prude and she doesn't take crap from anyone.
Good.
But she wasn't sure if his dong was moving involuntarily or if he was actually trying to wag it at her. I chimed in and let her know that the dude was definitely wagging.
Probably,
hoping she'd take notice. Obviously, she didn't do anything. She got a mediocre tip and saw the guy maybe once or twice after with similar, if not less subdued interactions. That's probably the worst thing that's happened to her. However, a male colleague of hers has been charged with assault and causing physical harm to a couple clients. Stuff does happen, more than one might think. Story 11.
True, 100%, man, 100%. A friend of mine went to school, got licensed, and he's a massage therapist, he was licensed. He, unfortunately, was arrested for sexual assault. He was one of the bad ones, and unfortunately, now it goes both ways. There are tons of typically male clients that will try to assault the female massage therapist, and unfortunately, there are some massage therapists, typically male, that will take advantage of the power differential situation and do things to the client that's on the table, where in the moment, most of the time, the female client with that power differential, there's a lot of fear involved, and you typically are frozen, and you know, some scream, some fight, some just zone out, let things happen because they want to be anywhere else and they're terrified of what happens if they say no. So yeah, man, sometimes this world sucks.
Story 12. My wife and I were at a small resort in Costa Rica.
God, dude,
when we go on vacation,
freaking, I just can't.
She always gets massages, but
can't.
I never do. This time, we decided to get a couple's massage. We get in the room, and the two are waiting for us each by a table.
Sure.
She had
Couples
this
massage,
Latin
definitely
love
thing.
god, and I, a cute girl in her 30s.
Okay.
They tell us to take off our clothes and gave us these little paper undies, then left the room.
Sure.
The room was nice. It had a little fountain with some foliage and some soothing sounds from speakers. We each looked at the paper undies, laughed, and decided to forego them. It just seemed so silly. They started the massage, and it felt good. She would stretch my arm, then start working it. First going over it lightly and gradually getting harder.
Good.
The time came to do my butt.
Sure.
She moved the towel down and started working my cheeks. than the insides of my cheeks, which I thought was odd, but I'm new to this
Okay.
massage world and maybe that's what a deep tissue was. At this time, I'm starting to feel not relaxed, but insecure.
Yeah.
I suddenly become aware of my wife next to me, who sounds more than relaxed.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, back in my butt, she was really doing the inside of the cheeks well. I had hoped this was the last spot she would do. The last thing I wanted is butt cheek sweat rubbed all over my body.
Yeah.
Then she started to press down on my actual butthole.
Oh.
I felt pressure building up behind her thumb.
Oh.
I clench like I never have before. I spin around and very politely thank her for the massage, and my wife says our time isn't up yet. I told her we have to go now.
Good.
I told my wife what happened, and she laughed at me and said, only to you. And now this is her favorite story to tell. Story 13. Believe me or not.
What? Bro, imagine having a traumatic event like a thumb almost going up your butt, only to have your partner laugh at you and then tell the story as much as possible at your expense. Oh my God, dude, that is... Oh my God, that pisses me off. Look, oh my God, dude. Bro, I do not have to tell you all the amount of things that are messed up with that sentence. I mean, like, take it in... No, that's not funny. Don't joke about that. That's insanity. If that was a woman, if that had happened to her, the difference of severity is insane. Oh God, dude. Oh man, I definitely believe that happened too.
I had a massage with a girl once and she was new. Before I flipped over from my stomach, she whispers, anything else I can do or focus on before you turn over?
Oh,
Based
okay,
on the place
okay.
being one of the
Yep,
most
that's fine.
popular massage places nationwide, I figured she meant in a non-horny way. I said no.
Yes, that is definitely something, especially for a first-time client. It really helps build that rapport. If you're like, okay, this is typically where I would turn you over. Is there anything else that you feel like I need a little more? No. Don't jump up here, cat. Is there anything that you feel like might need a little more tension before we turn? That is totally fine. At first, like my radar went off, but like, yeah, that's totally normal. I totally do that. Hey, no, get down. Get down. No, get down. Get down. That sounded way worse than what actually happened. Trust me. There's just a door right there. I swear he's fine. This is like a 1.5 foot drop. Okay, yeah, so that's totally normal. That's totally fine. And it should be in a non-horny way.
I turn over and she massages my legs. No problem. But when she does my arms, she rests my hand on her breast slightly, and I had to think about my grandma so hard to keep from getting in trouble.
That is a huge thing that at least they should talk about in school. It was mentioned a little bit in school. However, it was more mentioned at the business that I worked at. I had a wonderful trainer. Her name was Cynthia. She was absolutely fantastic. She was a huge inspiration. She's the reason I became such a good massage therapist. Well, other than just my drive, I went in and I was like, tell me who the best are so I can soak up as much info from them as I can before they leave. Yes, women, you do have to be careful where you're putting your arms, where you're resting their arms. If you're leaning over too much, don't let your breasts hit the client while they're face down, or for God's sakes, I don't know what you're doing if it's close to while you're face up, but it doesn't take much to insinuate like, ooh, and especially if a person is just on the edge of popping one, that little nudge is all it takes, and then we got to lift off.
We finished the massage and I left. I rescheduled and got her again a few weeks later, and she had changed up her style to rest my arm on her rolling chair for that.
Smart.
So someone must have said something. Story 14.
Totally believe it, 100%. Good situation. Totally fine, totally normal. Smart.
Story 15.
Good for them.
When I was
Good
in
for them.
school, I had placed
I
an
totally
ad
believe
for
that.
in-home service as a means of getting me more practice and able to make some extra cash on the side.
Totally fine.
I did this while working 40 hours a week and going to school 10 hours a day on my days
Whew,
off.
that's rough.
It was a pretty exhausting few months. Because I went to people's homes, I had some pretty specific steps about how I screened clients, being
Good.
very clear about what services I was giving. It's a relaxation massage booked by the hour. I bring my table, and you are fully draped.
Good,
Most people
smart.
that were looking for some kind of frisky service were pretty up in front upfront and rarely pushy.
Yep,
But I ended
I've
up with
noticed
some
that as
good
well.
clients that were just busy or traveled into town regularly and didn't have the time to visit a spa.
Good.
One Friday, I was home in the evening and laying down for a nap when my phone rang with someone looking to book an appointment. I gave them the spiel about what I offered and prices, and he asked if he could get the massage without a blanket. Some people ask this, so I always like to bring up how cold someone tends to get during a massage.
Yes,
the draping
definitely.
is for privacy. If you get overheated, I can drape just your waist.
Yes, so and they definitely enforce that at the company that I worked at, and gently enforce it at the school that I worked at. So they definitely try to keep the blanket on. There are tons of hot clients. I myself can run hot too. So there are sometimes if you're super uncomfortable with having the blanket completely off, you can make up some kind of business crap, or you can fold the blanket to where it only covers their special parts, right? And you can also uncover their feet and uncover their legs and have them uncover their arms if they get too hot.
And stuff like that. Most people usually got the point or were understanding.
Yep.
He was mildly fussy about the sheet.
Been there,
so I
had two
offered
clients
draping
that-
his
yep.
waist with a towel. He responded saying this was fine because I could and the phone started breaking up. I checked to see if he was still there, and he was. We just hit a bad reception patch, so no big deal. I confirmed the time and place and set the appointment for around 8 p.m. When I arrived at the client's townhouse, as I walk up, I hear loud music playing. All I'm thinking of is that I hope he can hear me as I knock on the door, which opened to blast my ears with smooth R&B and revealed an old white man wearing a sleeveless coral shirt with ruffles.
Okay.
It looked like something an older woman would pick up from Walmart to dress casually. I think nothing of it. Who am I to judge what weird clothes this guy wants to wear?
Sure.
And walk in also noticing he's not wearing pants.
Yep,
Okay, whatever.
sure.
He's Donald ducking around his apartment getting ready for a massage. But he's clearly wearing some kind of underwear, so I don't acknowledge it. I
Yep.
sit at my table, focusing on my work rather than his odd attire, and make polite conversation. As I'm ready to go, I say that I need to change the music so I can focus and he can relax, and that I'll wash my hands.
Cool.
While I do that, he can climb onto the table and get under the towel on his back.
Cool.
This is when I turn to change the CD in his player, and I can see out of the corner of my eye as he took off the top. This is when I turn to change the CD in his player, and I can see out of the corner of my eye as he took off the top that he was wearing underneath are the frilliest pair of lacy panties. This is not the most normal of situations, but I have two options. One, this guy's a weirdo pervert and wants to get a reaction out of me for wearing something shocking.
True.
Or two, this guy is into wearing ladies' clothing and this is how he gets to be in private.
That's
No
true, no
matter
judgment.
the actual answer, my best course of action is to not acknowledge it and to go about the session.
fair. That's what I would
worked
do.
through, did my routine as normal while he was on his back and focused on my work. For the most part, it was a pretty standard massage. Though I did have to fight the compulsion to flip the tag of his panties back inside his underwear lest I call attention to them. But when I
there.
did his feet, he kept splaying his legs out, which, when I wasn't thinking, gave me a glance at his balls hanging out from the
Oh,
lace.
no.
His legs were pushed back together, and I kept my eyes on the floor after that. At the end of the session, I cleaned up quickly, thanked him, collected my money, and left. At the end of it, he paid me 3 times my rate, which was nice, but it was still an awkward session.
Okay, so this was kind of a long one, but I had a lot to talk about. I'm very passionate about massage. Okay, there were some decent stories in there. There was only like a couple that I felt like were total horse crap. Yeah, I think this was a good medium to show people some of the things that can happen for massage therapists. I have not had too many not safe for work issues. I mean, I would never. It's not something I joke about. It's not funny to me. I take my work very seriously. I am very proud of how safe my clients can feel on the table, and that's very important to me. So I will link the video in the description for any other massage therapists that are out there. You want to react to this? Sure, tag me. And I did subscribe to this person. I'll link their channel as well. You should. They put a lot of effort and time into that video. So go here and drop it a like. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you guys like this kind of massage therapist stuff and you want me to do another episode about it, or if there's other React stuff that you guys can think of, I'd be more than happy to. So I love my job. I love what I do and I try hard. And I always warn people that this is a labor of love, but if you're in it to win it, and you can start off on a good base knowledge and then progress to the points where you're doing your own thing, there's money to be made. So take care. Oh, and subscribe, please. I really want to get that number up. And I would appreciate it if you help.